Bienvenidos sean todos a una nueva edición de Monday Night Football. Soy Ricardo García Ochoa y les saludo a todos con mucho gusto, esperando se encuentren muy bien. Hoy estamos una vez más de gala. Ustedes ya lo ven en pantalla. Tenemos un miembro del Salón de la Fama con nosotros y nos hemos enlazado directamente con él para conversar esta noche. Pónganse cómodos porque a lo largo de los próximos 4 cuartos vamos a hablar con una leyenda. Richard Dent está con nosotros en el show. Ahí lo ven ustedes en pantalla. Pero déjenme saludar, por favor, a quienes ustedes conocen muy bien, a mi compañero Randy Fuller. Randy, how are you, man? I'm going to bring the Tennessee State band on this show because we've got the first alumni from Tennessee State. That's a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. How are you?
TSU. That's right. Hey, man, I'm doing great, man. As always, I'm excited about another show. Excited to have a Tennessee State alumni on the show tonight. One of my mentors, one of my heroes, one of our MVPs. So I can't wait to get started and learn more about what Richard is doing now and how he got to where he's been all over the world. So I can't wait to hear all of his stories. So Richard, you're looking good, and we're excited to have you on the show.
My pleasure to be here, Randy. My pleasure. All right, how's it been for you there, my man? You been okay?
Everything's going well. You know, this COVID got us inside, but everybody's doing well. So thanks for checking.
Yeah, well, that COVID is pretty tough, but, you know, the way I live my life, I've always kind of been inside. So, you know, it's kind of a fact of life, but, you know, it's been tough to, you know, not get out and work on your core on some of the things that, you know, that you try to do to keep yourself up, getting a little older, you know, so upkeep and maintenance is definitely something that's needed.
Dice Richard,
but I'm still on the planet right now. I'm still on the planet. They're not putting any soil on me, so I guess I'm okay.
Dice Richard que él está acostumbrado a estar encerrado. Es un hombre que ha estado por todo el mundo, como Randy Fuller lo decía, egresado de la Universidad Estatal de Tennessee, miembro del Salón de la Fama, primero que logra hacer eso. Richard, first of all, man, thank you for taking the time. We appreciate so much that you joining us tonight on the show. There's a lot of people in Latin America that still remember your fantastic football career and are glad to have you tonight and listen to what you're doing. And we're going to talk tonight about the past. We're going to talk about the present. And we want to talk to you also about the future. So first of all, Richard, tell me one thing, man. You came out of Tennessee State. You were drafted in 1983 to one of the best draft classes in the history of pro football, okay?
Yeah.
We've got 8 Hall of Famers, including one that's going to be in this year, your former teammate, Jimbo Colbert. Right. But all of them were selected in the first round. You came into the league as an 8th rounder. What does that mean to you? ¿Qué significa para ti ser octava ronda cuando tus compañeros de generación todos fueron seleccionados en la primera ronda y elegidos al Salón de la Fama? Tell us about that, Richard, please.
Well, you know, it's you know, I had a dream. It's just like I'm here working with my son, telling him about that. You know, you know, once someone teaches you how to fish, then you go fishing, right? So it was, you know, my high school coach. He knew that I wanted to leave Atlanta and find myself, but you know, everywhere I turned, it always had been a problem. You know, when I went to Tennessee State, they said, "Hey, you didn't ask for this guy." My coach patted him on the shoulder, told him good luck, and walked away. They know, you know. Now I'm on the offensive line trying to push people around, and I'm 195 pounds. Too small to be that. Wanted to be, you know, a tight end, but they wouldn't want. So I basically got on defense and started showing the offense pictures. You know, you have a dummy squad, but you don't have to be a dummy. You know, so if you want to give a picture, you give good pictures, and those pictures turned out to what you have seen over the last 15, 20 years or so as a guy that, you know, knew that he had something, but he had to find the people to get the best out of them. Every kid needs someone to push them to a level that they don't know that they have, and that's when that light come on.
Dice Richard que él cuando llegó a Tennessee State era un chico de 195 libras, lo pusieron en la línea ofensiva, era parte del equipo de práctica, le daba pelea a la línea ofensiva cuando fue cambiado a la defensa y que todos necesitan a alguien que nos enseñe. Y ese fue el caso de Richard Dent, convirtiéndose en el jugador que ustedes ya conocen en su gran carrera dentro de la NFL. Go ahead, Randy.
Yeah, hey, Richard and I got some serious history. We both, of course, attended Tennessee State University, and we both came in as offensive players. They got converted to defense, and we both reached our dreams of playing in the NFL. One of my biggest memory, Richard, I don't know whether you remember this, but toward your end of your career, you started a sports agency business. Yeah. And at the time, you were playing for the San Francisco 49ers, and I had been drafted to the Denver Broncos. So do you know of anybody else who actually played against their agent?
No.
Unheard of, right?
But it was, what was important to me then as I was growing up, I knew, I've seen a lot of talent leave Tennessee State and go into the league, but they wasn't sticking. And I just couldn't understand what was the problem. Why is these kids wasn't sticking? So, you got a lot of politics, a lot of things. And at that time when I started, I started my firm, we wanted to represent ball players to help them, to achieve the things that they wanted to achieve. And, that went on for a while, and I moved on into some other space after I got out of football in '98. I got in the energy business. So, and now I've been in the energy and technology, kind of PPE technology stuff. So I've been a little techie. I'm a little techie, but fortunately, I was able to get a partnership with First Energy out of Ohio, and we bought a phone company and utility, and I could just see the future, and I said, I just want to embed myself in that space.
Dice, le pregunta Randy a Richard si conoció a alguien cuando Richard estaba terminando su carrera, abrió una agencia de representación de jugadores y se había conocido a un jugador que hubiese enfrentado a su propio representante, como era el caso de Randy con Richard, los dos egresados de la misma universidad, pero que Richard diversificó su labor y que ahora se dedica al negocio de la tecnología y de la energía y ha podido hacer grandes trabajos, que es algo que le gusta, es la parte de la tecnología, ha logrado diversificar y crear su empresa. Talked about that company, Richard. You founded RDL in 1998, and you've been working with the community in Chicago, in Illinois. You've done a lot of things back there. What can you tell us about that, and what would be your biggest advice to any pro athlete once they finish their professional career? ¿Cuál sería tu consejo para cualquier atleta cuando termina la carrera como jugador para empezar una empresa?
Well, I think it's important, as a dream to me, I've always wanted to be entrepreneurial before football. But then at that time, I've worked from, the 5th grade to the 11th grade. And one of my friends just so happened to kept pushing me and telling me like, hey, you can come back and do this when you want to. Why don't you try your dream? So, that's what I did, but that light came on when he said that, because I had been doing this 5-6 years. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I've been doing this for a while, working at all fast food, cutting grass, doing whatever. I had 7 brothers and 1 sister. And, my dad thought he had the next Jackson 5, but that wasn't taking place. This 5 couldn't sing, couldn't do anything. But I knew that, being the middle child, I'm getting hand-me-downs all the time. So, when you want something, you have to go out and get it. And, I decided to go to work. But then, to me, after football, I went back to those same roots of being entrepreneurial. And right now, I'm really looking forward. My foundation, the Make a Dent Foundation, we have an endowment at Columbia College. We help kids get in school, finish school. And right now, I'm really looking forward to starting a relationship with a big company like Walgreens. It's in the making. We don't have it all fixed out yet, but we're going to be creating some center of innovation in communities to help jobs, training in communities, to drive that wealth back into the community. When you look at Walgreens, they sit in every community. So I'm looking forward to that space, because that's, what's most important of anything. A lot of folks see it, to me, as a kid, you dream it, you pray about it, and you have to be about it.
Dice Richard, yo le pregunto que, bueno, ¿cuál sería su consejo para algún atleta que terminando su carrera pudiera emprender algo como él lo ha hecho? Él dice que él toda su vida ha sido trabajador, ha sido emprendedor desde muy joven y por eso se ha dedicado a este tema con su propia compañía, desarrollándola y haciéndola crecer, y que él recuerda aquellas palabras, decir, no puedes nada más dedicarte al deporte, puedes igual crecer a través del emprendimiento como lo han hecho, y tiene una fundación que lleva a chicos a las universidades para que estudien y terminen sus carreras. It's all yours, Randy.
Yeah, Richard. You know, Richard is the man, the myth, and the legend. So I want to get back and stay in the college days. Hopefully, the college days. I'm not sure when he got this nickname, but I definitely want everybody in Latin America to know Richard's nickname is Dirty. So, Dirty, did you get that nickname in high school, college, pros? When did you get that nickname, and were you truly your name?
Well, you know, Dirty is a name that come out of college. You know, so it's many guys during my time is called Dirty. You know, I guess you have to be somewhat craft. You have a craft in your game, and yet we had many Dirty, but that one kind of sticks. You know, with the Mike Jones has been telling me saying that's not it, but that's it. Okay, that's the one I'm sticking to.
Dice Randy que el apodo de Richard Dent es Dirty, sucio. ¿De dónde viene ese apodo? Dice, bueno, surgió obviamente en la Universidad de Tennessee State y se ha quedado con él a lo largo de su carrera, y ese es el apodo que le gusta que más se reconozca. Okay, Richard, let's talk about the Chicago Bears. And once you get to that team that for 5 consecutive seasons, you guys were in the playoffs, you managed to win a Super Bowl, and you were the MVP of Super Bowl 20. Talk about that experience playing with those guys, Wilbur Marshall, Mike Singletary, Hugh Pearson, Gary Fencing, and all of them, Wilbur Marshall. What about those monsters of the Midway?
Well, you know, coming from Tennessee State, you know, you're coming from a winning background. So to me, if we lost 3 games, we're losing the season. So coming to Chicago, the only thing I knew was, you know, Walter Payton. Then I knew they wasn't the winner, but I knew, you know, get a chance to play with a legend, a great guy from, you know, Black College and all of that, came in there and like you say, that class, here we go. That class was a hell of a class that came in, and the guys that I played with, you know, everybody was wanted to be leaders, you know, but you have to prove yourself on the field if you had anything to say or be. But you know, playing with guys like that everybody's pushing to being the best, and you know, like I say, you know, coming out of Tennessee State taught me the whole game. All I needed was opportunity, and they gave me the opportunity, and I ran with it.
Dice Richard que cuando llegó a Chicago jugó nombres que todos querían ganar, y que vaya, la escuela que él traía de Tennessee State era de ganar. Perdías 3 partidos y tenías una temporada perdedora, y de eso se trató en Chicago, todos empujarse para ser mejores. Go ahead, Randy. Next question for the Mr. Dent.
Absolutely. I love this. Yeah, so Richard, I know you said your father thought you guys were going to be the Jackson 5, and you weren't, but we did see you dancing doing the shuffle. So was that the closest you? Well, so was that your Michael Jackson moment right there?
He was playing the saxophone.
He still was dancing though.
That was another brother you talking about.
How was that? How was that making that show with your teammates?
It was, you know, the funny part with that, you know, when I laugh at my brothers, right?
Uh-huh.
They have been doing shows. We used to do, you know, talent shows in our backyard. We do shows all around the city back then. And to me, to go off and do my thing and get a gold record and a platinum video, and was up against Prince in a Grammy. Okay, Prince.
Wow.
Football players up against Prince.
Yeah.
But, you know, well, again, though, these guys, again, after we lost against the 49ers, championship game, we committed ourselves coming back that next year on the ride back to Chicago that we was going to come back and just beat everybody. We wanted to beat them down, you know, I mean, just where they couldn't play the next game or whatever it may be. But, you know, and we did that. It wasn't to be undefeated. It was to win hands down. And we did it that way. But, you know, but also, like you said, you know, 5 years, we probably should have been the first team that won 3 in a row. And, you know, to me, you know, I hate that we missed that because we had home field advantage 3 years in a row. You know, after the Super Bowl, we didn't lose no more than 6 games over the next 3 years. So the Super Bowl year we lost 1. Next year we lost 2. Next year we lost 3. You know, so the fact that it comes down to that first playoff game, it doesn't matter who you are, what you are. If you got to win the first one, you get to the second one. And we couldn't get there. Redskins beat us back to back at home. And I'm still pissed off about that.
Le recuerda a Randy a Richard, ¿no? Aquel episodio que ustedes muy bien saben del Super Bowl Shuffle, que ahí sí lo vieron bailando. Richard es el hermano del medio, tiene 7 hermanos y una hermana, así que imagínense esa familia. Pero Richard le recuerda a Randy que durante esos años los Bears tuvieron ventaja de casa, tuvieron grandes récords y debieron de haber sido el primer equipo en ganar 3 partidos consecutivos. How do you think, Richard? ¿Cómo crees que le iría a los Osos de Chicago? How do you think the Chicago Bears of 1985 will do in today's NFL? ¿Cómo le iría jugando hoy?
None of us would have made any money because we would all be broke. First, because you couldn't hit nobody. Second of all, everybody else would be scared. I mean, think about it. I mean, you're in the Super Bowl and the team at halftime was minus yards. And these guys today, they don't even tackle. They don't even practice what they do 100%. It's tackle, right? So that's why when you see last year, at the end of the season, everybody started running the ball. Why? Because can't nobody tackle. Why try to throw it? The easiest part of the game is blocking and tackling. The special part is catching, rushing the pass, defending. Okay, that's the second thing that one can do. But the basic thing that everybody should be able to do is block and tackle.
Dice Richard que si jugaran hoy en día estarían todos limpios porque nadie les pagaría. No se puede taclear, no se puede golpear, pero que son los fundamentos, bloquear y taclear del juego y después sigue el correr y el pasar el balón. Pero definitivamente jugando en estos tiempos, como lo hemos visto recientemente en el Super Bowl, al final de la temporada todo el mundo corre porque nadie taclea. Go ahead, Randy.
Hey, Richard, man, I so hate that I miss you. I wish you could have been rushing the passer when I was playing defense. I could have been a first round draft pick, man. Gosh, I missed that part. But you and I both had the opportunity to play for the legendary Joe Gilliam Sr. And I know you got a lot of nuggets from him. What is the one thing that you could share with us that you learned from him as a person that helped you become the person you are and the player that you became?
Well, Joe is one thing is be responsible for your work. Be responsible what you going to put out there. Oh, that's him blowing that. Be responsible for your craft. Let me tell you. Joe, I hated Joe. I mean, I hate Joe because Joe used to just push me to a level that I didn't know that I have, and I hated him for it because I never thought I could ever make that mile for 6 minutes or whatever it may be.
Right.
But Joe taught me on the field, taking those 2 steps on the other side of the line of scrimmage, giving those 2 steps back. And now the offense is now back at the line of scrimmage. So the fundamental things that he taught me as a player, it's like Buddy Ryan and Mike Singletary and Otis Wilson, all these guys, they basically looked at Buddy Ryan that way. For me, Joe Gilliam was my Buddy Ryan in college, right? So, to me, that what was important to me here right now. I'm sorry this call here. I'm trying to get it out of the way, guys.
Let me translate all that, Richard, while you're taking that call away. Le pregunta a Randy el coach Joe Gilliam, que fue obviamente el mentor de ellos dos, porque era el head coach de Tennessee State, y que si algo le enseñó era a ser responsable de su trabajo, que como los demás compañeros en Chicago veían a Buddy Ryan, Otis Wilson, Mike Singletary, así Richard Dent veía a Joe Gilliam. And Coach Gilliam was the one that presented you for enshrinement into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Richard.
Yeah, that's my point, where you hate a guy so much, but he's the guy that walked you into the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? I mean, just, it's a lot of love there.
Wow.
And, he had a son, was a great ball player. You're talking about a man that was at University of Indiana in 1948 playing quarterback, okay? Imagine that. But this is a special man. I mean, you just don't meet people like him that often.
No.
Dice Richard que era un hombre muy especial, el coach Gilliam, que no te encuentras a alguien así tan fácilmente, pero a pesar de todo el odio que sentía por la manera como lo empujó a crecer y a trabajar, fue el coach Gilliam el que presentó a Richard Dent para entronización al Salón de la Fama. Go ahead, Randy.
Richard, you mentioned earlier about thinking that you guys should have been in 3 consecutive Super Bowls. But the thing about that is that you actually were in one that you actually won. All right. I played in 2, came up short twice. So what's the biggest difference for the guys that played in Super Bowl and lost and the guys that won? So you actually was, not only did you win, you were MVP. How was that as a person?
Well, you know, if you've never been there, you don't know. You know,
Right.
to me, my first play, I got knocked on my tail. Okay, yeah, because we were in the thought of, you know what, we have shut 2 teams out. And we had played the Patriots, so we knew what they were. And we was like, let's shut these guys out. Let's be the first team that shut out everybody in the playoffs.
Right.
We was that cocky. Obviously, Super Bowl shuffle. We started that at the 4th game during the season. We did the video after the first game we lost. Right. So in this case, we was like, you know what? Everybody's going to play. We wanted this game to be over at halftime. So
Right.
obviously, you know, even a friend of mine, Bruce Smith, I said, Bruce, you know, man, you went to 4 Super Bowls. You know, one of them I'm gonna win by myself. I can't go there that many times and come up empty. You know,
That's
but
right.
it's, again, if you've never been there, you don't know. Like I
Exactly.
said, this guy, he hit me and he hit me in the chest, and I'm trying to hold myself, and he's coming back to clean me up. Something in my mind said, I can take this lick or I can hit reset. And he said, well, why are you hitting reset when you're in the Super Bowl? If you haven't been there, you don't know.
You don't know.
Dice Randy, él estuvo en 2 Super Bowls y los perdió. Richard estuvo en 1 y ganó. ¿Cuál es la diferencia? Bueno, Richard Dent recuerda, primera jugada de ese Super Bowl, golpeado, se levanta y continúa. Inclusive recuerda que el video del Super Bowl Shuffle lo grabaron después de su primera derrota y única en la temporada, que fue contra de Miami, que querían ganar ese Super Bowl blanqueando a los Patriots de Nueva Inglaterra, como lo hicieron con los Giants y como lo hicieron con los Rams. We got a lot of love, Richard, from all over Latin America. Daniel Morales in Costa Rica, he's watching the show. Enrique Macias, big time Bears fan. You are his idol. He's watching from Mexico City. Fer Moreno, he's in Monterrey, Mexico. He's watching the show. Juan Ramiro Guerra is also watching the show. He thanks you for being here tonight. Juan Morris also sends his best. Aldo Morales from Monterrey, Mexico. Alejandro Sanchez. Axel, we got a lot of people watching this tonight all over Latin America, Richard.
Thank you.
So we appreciate it so much. Richard, I want to go back to 1985. And you knew before the game that it was going to be Bolly Ryan's last show with you guys. Vince Tobin came next year. What was the big difference for the Chicago defense once Bolly left and you got Vince Tobin as your defensive coordinator? ¿Cuál fue la gran diferencia?
Well, you know, we was a great team still, but, you know, a coach's system is a system. You got to have the horses. You know, you got to have a thoroughbred to run the track, to run the race. But Buddy was something different. You know, I mean, Buddy, Papa Hallis, who started the game, told Buddy he could be there as long as he liked. You know, so it's a bunch of guys put in some paperwork, tried to get George Hallis to allow Buddy to be the head coach, and Buddy brought Hallis brought Mike Dicker in and told Buddy he could be there as long as he liked. So at the end of the day, we had 2 head coaches, whether you know it or not. You know, they both cut each other out. You know, it's always something going on. Get it right. How can you offense try? They get it right. Defense fail. We got to get it right. Like, hey, coach, we're gonna never get this thing right. We're going back and forth, right? But Buddy was a coach that played on the edge. Buddy was all about putting pressure on the quarterback, you know, not allowing him to have time to throw the ball. Vince Tobin, obviously a totally different system, but the horses were still there. You know what I mean? We just couldn't find a quarterback that could get us over, you know, to get us over the hump. But you know, that night when Buddy left after the Super Bowl, you know, he generally say a few words, then he go have a scotch, and the defensive line coach show us some films. And that day, Buddy told us, you know, all you guys always gonna be my champion. He's like, wait a minute, how you starting this conversation like this? You know, this last we're gonna be your, like, come on, man. So you know, he had a few tears in his eyes, and guys was, you know, really already cranked up. Now we're hearing about that. We know he's gonna probably get a job, but having that conversation that time, and he walked out, and other coach started to show the reel. One of the guys kicked the reel, and the other coach just had the stem in his hand, and another player, Steve McMichael, threw a chair against the wall, and it's still sticking there. And we're like, I think we're okay, coach. We don't need to watch any film. We're gonna get out of here. That's why we carried him off the field.
That's
he was
right.
on my shoulder. Me and Otis Wilson carried him off, and William Perry and Steve McMichael carried Mike Dick off. But at the end of the day, that's how the season went. One said something, the other was fighting. So we couldn't let one go off the field. They both have to walk off the field on somebody's shoulder.
Richard recuerda aquel capítulo de Buddy Ryan cuando Buddy se va al final de la temporada, obviamente anunciando lo previo al Super Bowl, que para la junta, esa última reunión del equipo fue tirar sillas, todos enojados, Buddy Ryan con lágrimas en los ojos, pero fue un equipo que ganó un Super Bowl con 2 head coaches y que no fue lo mismo cuando llegó Vince Tobin de coordinador defensivo al año siguiente. Hold on, Richard, Randy, we're going to make a brief pause and we're going to come back because this show is just getting better by the minute. Gracias a todos los que nos sintonizan. Football Grill Nation en Monterrey nos acompaña, Americano a lo mexicano también y todos sus fans, y Legión Fútbol Costa Rica. Vamos a una breve pausa y regresamos. Estamos con la leyenda viviente, el líder en capturas en la historia de los Chicago Bears, Richard Dent. Y ya volvemos. Estamos de regreso en Monday Night Football Talk, esta noche acompañado por un inmortal, Richard Dent. Randy, go ahead, man. I'm enjoying this show. I'm hoping Richard is enjoying it as much as we are tonight, because not any day we get to talk to a Hall of Famer.
Oh, no question, no question. It's halftime. Halftime is over, so I expect this show to be really, really live to the finish. Richard, you know, like I said, I came into the league in '94, and of course I had a lot of heroes that I looked up to. You, of course, being one of them, having followed your footsteps through Tennessee State. You know, when we go to HBCUs, we just have a bond that nobody else has. It's just a natural bond. So I really just want to learn more about your bond and what kind of person that we see Walter Payton, the kind of person that he was and the player that he was. And I just want to learn more because I only know what they showed me on TV, but you had a chance to play with them, and you guys, I'm sure, had that HBCU bond.
Yeah, Walter, you know, like you know, as a kid, you know, you watch a guy play for so long and you get a chance to get around him. And, you know, to me, you know, I've always been a sponge. You know, I'm going to soak up as much information, whatever I need to know, whatever I can get, you know, deal with and to make my craft, make my game better. I mean, I used to watch Walter so much where I put his little kick and stretch in my pass rush move in a fake the way he kicked, right? But had a chance to actually sit down with him on one of the trips. You know, you don't supposed to sit with Walter. He sit outside of first class, first row, first 3 seats, and sit by himself. So it's the thing, if you sit beside him, you get hurt. You know, I'm like, hey, man, I'm going to sit. I got to talk to this man, you know. So I sat there. Next day, you know, I done blew a hammy, ankle. Now I'm hurt for the rest of the preseason, you know, trying to sit around with Walter. They told me, if you sit there, you're going to get hurt. Now,
oh, my goodness. Wow.
So I'm sitting there, and when I was in there, so the guy, you know, he had a deck of cards. He said, let me show you something. So he had an old deck of cards, and he threw the deck apart. I'm like, what? I said, oh, man, that's an old deck. It's been sitting there for a while. I said, stewardess, come here. come here. So the stewardess come back. She bring me a new deck of cards. She brought a new deck, all 54. My man, it took him about 2 minutes longer. Crap. He tore it again.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. You know what?
That was Walter?
That was Walter.
Wow.
That's Walter. Walter,
Wow.
I've seen Walter in the gym. I've seen Walter in the weight room one time in the 5 years that he was with me. And that one time, he had a towel around his waist and he had a $185 on both hands doing bench press. I was just telling you, this guy, you don't get that. When you get close, you'll stick that bow up on you and hit you. But, Walter, his hand strength was just unreal,
Wow.
and how he kept himself in shape. He was, and what he did in community, had a good business sense. He was just an all-around great guy.
Le pregunta Randy a Richard por Walter Payton, una de las más grandes leyendas que ha jugado en la NFL, y recuerda a Richard aquellos capítulos de la fortaleza física y la dedicación del trabajo de Walter Payton, que bueno, cuenta esa historia con un truco con las cartas, con las barajas, cómo las hacía pedazos por la fortaleza que tenía en las manos y la cantidad de peso que levantaba Walter Payton, definitivamente una gran inspiración. Richard, I know that you're also a member of the Georgia Sports Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
A state that has produced a lot of the greatest athletes in U.S. history. But I also know that you like boxing. And I want to ask you, what about your homeboy, Evander Holyfield? Do you think he's the best heavyweight of all times? Te pregunto por Evander Holyfield.
Where'd you get that from? You've been doing some work, haven't you?
Hey, I'm a journalist. I do my job, bro.
Well, when you got 7 brothers, you're gonna box. You're gonna fight. You got 7 boys. There's gonna be some knocking, okay? So, it started there and went other places. But yeah, Holyfield grew up with him. And it was a nice thing to see him do his thing. And I did got in the ring with him a couple of times. I think he was fighting Kwame. I forget who he was fighting that time in Atlanta. I did a little thing with him there, but he was a great one, as well as Hank Aaron was another guy that I enjoyed watching. Actually, I called Atlanta Falcons office to ask to speak to Claude Humphrey when I was 11 years old. And he got on the phone, and I got tongue-tied. I couldn't even speak, right? So for me to get in the Hall of Fame before Claude Humphrey, who I saw, who was the number 3 player picked in '69, I'm like, yeah, this, a guy like Too Tall is another guy that, he stands up and changed the game by itself. I mean, he done blocked more balls than any defensive back.
He'll be in the Hall of Fame.
Guy was the number 1 pick. He was the number 1 player pick during that time. Again, it's some guys in the Hall of Fame that has not, did some of the things that he has done. And for, Claude Humphrey to be that long to get there, it was disappointing to me. But the fact that he finally got there, is really, really, really appreciated. But I watched him do his thing. And just, again, become a sponge, let me see it. Players today, I've tried to work with many players today. All they want is the check. I don't know if they really love the game, love the craftsmanship. What we have and you have given them today, it's really, to me, kind of disappointing, but, But I like to see the game be there for my son and my grandson one day.
Le pregunto a Richard Dent porque le gusta el boxeo y dice que como tenía 7 hermanos, había que tirar la mano y que obviamente con Evander Holyfield, quien es también de Georgia, una gran leyenda, medallista olímpico, campeón del mundo en la categoría reina del boxeo, que en algún momento también tiró guante con Evander Holyfield, pero habla de la importancia también de varias figuras del deporte en Georgia. A Hank Aaron, Carl Humphrey de los Falcons de Atlanta, ya miembro del Salón de la Fama por el Comité de Veteranos. Esos fueron los hombres que él admiró, pero que él siempre aprendió de ellos porque Richard Dent es como una esponja, absorbe todo el conocimiento y la experiencia de todos estos grandes hombres. Go ahead, Randy.
Richard, Ricardo he has a job where he's sitting in the booth all warm and feeling good and just relaxing, no matter what the weather is. I need you to tell him what goes through a player mind and how do you prepare to deal with the weather in a place like Chicago, which I consider one of the coldest places I ever played in? How did you do that for all those years?
Well, mind over matter. That's where it has to be. Mother Nature's gonna do her thing.
Right.
My first year when I got there in '83, we played our last game, and it was the temperature, I believe, was somewhere about 9 degrees, the wind chill of 48 below. All right, and Vaseline was freezing up out there. Everything froze up, and that was my first start. And I remember going out there, and they cut the warm up in half, and we froze by the time we came back. And I was sitting there, and you're sitting in the locker room waiting for that knock, 2-minute knock. And I forgot about that. I forgot about playing. When the 2-minute knock come on, and I was like, oh shit, I got to go back out there.
Right.
Let me tell you, you cannot get warm. You just put your mind somewhere else. If you're worrying about being warm, then you're not going to get the job done. But that taught me that year. After that, it was mind over matter. You just forget about it. You out there to do a job. Mother Nature's going to do her job. So let her do her job, and you tell her to let her to do your job. So, you get your job done at the end of the day. But, to me, Minnesota and Detroit and Chicago and Green Bay, I can't imagine back in the day, all those guys playing outside. Minnesota's so cold and nails come out of the house. I don't know how they did it, but I made it through.
Hey, man.
Le pregunta a Randy Richard sobre el clima en Chicago, condiciones tan frías, y él viniendo del sur. Richard recuerda su primer partido como titular, estaba en el campo bajo cero, la temperatura siempre se juega congelado, pero el consejo era: la mente tiene que superar el cuerpo. La madre naturaleza va a hacer lo suyo y tú tienes que controlar lo tuyo. Richard, don't believe Randy everything he says. I just did the NFC divisional round game on the field, on Lambeau Field, Packers against the Seahawks, and that was the frozen tundra right there. So everything he says, okay, please. But I want to go back to the enshrinement ceremony and the day you found out, after several years trying to get into the Hall of Fame and not getting the votes. How did that news come to you, Richard, and what did that mean to you to become a Hall of Famer, being immortalized in the pro football shrine?
Well, as a kid, I never thought about the Hall of Fame, didn't know anything about it. But after 2 years in the league, a couple guys, say, hey, man, you keep doing this, you potentially go to the Hall of Fame. I'm like, okay, what is that? Who's that? I didn't really know, at all. But, watching a guy like Walter, when we get in that crowd, he would always say, don't do what I say, do what I do. When we get to do what I do, put my hands on the head or whatever it may be. Do what he do. And to me, watching him take care of his business, I said, I'm going to play at that level. I want to be at that level, and I want to keep it at that level. So, it was just it was a driving force to watch a man do his job, and yet, you try to compete at that level. That's what I try to do. Obviously, first 3 years, was 2 years of Pro Bowl, 1 year Super Bowl MVP, kind of like the kid at Kansas City right now. Came in the league that way.
Right.
It took a while to me, for whatever reason, the NFL, hold back for black players from black colleges getting into the Hall of Fame. Because I look at Dallas Cowboys right there. I'm looking at Nate Newton right now, and I'm looking at Eric Williams. Why are these guys not in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Okay. Allen came later. He came way later. And here it is. Emmett got the rushing title, and they got the guy who came to the team later, and not the two guys that used to make, 18 wheelers holes for this guy to run the ball. And like the same thing I just said about Tutal. For whatever reason, if you're not leading in every category, if you come from HBCU, for whatever reason, we have to go through that. You
Yep.
know, and as we going through those situations today about
Yeah.
people of color, you know, how
Right.
we judging people of color. People of color at that time, you know, the NFL, they got their pro offense from people of color, right?
Mhm.
And otherwise,
Mhm.
it used to
Mhm.
be wishbone and whatever. But back in the day, you know, they looking at these black colleges and shit. What is this? They spreading the ball out, throwing here and
Uh-huh.
that. You know,
Yeah.
so I mean, the people of color has made many ways for people, but you know, don't reap the benefit like everybody else that's enjoying the situation.
Muy importante lo que dice Richard. Yo le pregunto sobre cómo llegó para él esa noticia de entrar al Salón de la Fama y él habla de que a lo largo de los años a jugadores de universidades, universidades negras en el sur de los Estados Unidos, donde hay una mayor comunidad o población de estudiantes afroamericanos en esas universidades, se les ha hecho esperar y pone un caso muy bueno. El de Eric Williams y Nate Newton, que no han entrado al Salón de la Fama, y Larry Allen sí lo hizo a pesar de que él llegó después abriéndole huecos también a Emmitt Smith. ¿Por qué no son considerados igual? Ed Tuttle Jones, otro jugador egresado de Tennessee State, y es una de las razones por las cuales la sociedad en los Estados Unidos, las cosas están como están, porque tampoco se les ha dado reconocimiento que se merecen. Go ahead, Randy.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Yeah, Rich. Hey, man, we're getting down the final stretch. So, man,
it.
this has
Okay,
been really good. So, we really appreciate your time again.
no problem.
Look, as a father, I think it's important that when you're spending time with your kids and whatever sport they participate in, I think you know I grew up without my father being there. I don't know whether you had that, but having a
Hmm.
parent present when your kid is playing sports, how important is that to you? And what advice would you give parents who we all want our kids to make it to the highest level? What advice would you give them as far as that is concerned?
Well, a parent, you know, is very important, good or bad. You know, my father, like I said, you know, he wanted to push everybody into music. He thought he had something there. I was mama's boy, so I basically hung around mom a lot. And you know, and I wanted to play football, but again, like I said, I was an entrepreneur during that time.
Right.
Finally, you know, I went that way, and you know, but along that time, you know, my father was an alcoholic, you know, and me and his birthday was on the same. So I knew
Wow.
one thing: I did not want to be like him as that. And trust me, he's got to work hard. I put
Right.
flows with him. He worked that midnight shift with the security. You remember those old round clocks he used to click?
Oh
I used
yeah.
to hang out with him and went that back in the day. But you know, he's a guy that you know worked hard, took care of his family. But the source of sauce that he had just taught me and saying, you know, okay, I see something that I don't want. Okay,
Right.
and to not have that in your life, then you may have to go through that. So having
Right.
that in my life meant a lot. But my dad would push us, and my mom pushed us to be the best that we can be. At the end of the day, we go out to school, go out to accomplish your dream, your goal, and once you pray about it, you have to be about it. You can't worry about it anymore. You know, if
Right.
God's giving you the ability to see yourself doing something, then there it is. You know, if you can see it, then it's possible. You know, all I always say, rejection is God's protection. The person who don't understand rejection needs God's protection.
Mhm.
Thank
Yeah,
you, sir.
you're right about that, Richard. I'm sure you're very aware what's going on, not only in the U.S. now, because it has transcended around the world with the manifestations and the protests after the death of George Floyd.
Mhm.
Right.
What can you tell now, generations, young people that are going out to the street and making, trying to have their voices being heard? What's what do we need to do now and need to do in the future to take away racism from every country in the world?
Well, I think it starts with mothers and fathers, uncles, grandfathers, grandmothers. It starts with you as an individual to say, one, first, where did I get this from? Nobody being born knowing race. Okay, this is something that's taught. So
Yep.
you have to either go back to your parents, or go back to your mother or father, go back to your grandfather, to your uncle, whomever told you what about this spot. Go back and have that conversation, and let's break bread. Let's bring truth to that. If you can do that, then you can do well as an individual going forward. So you don't push that attitude to your kids. See, the objective is to hear it. The problem is that this has been rolled down, down, down over years and years and years. At some point, that now it needs to go back. Okay, so wherever I got that information, whoever told me that, let me go back and talk to my dad about that. Do you want to apologize about that, Dad? Can we break bread and say we were wrong, or what? Or you may say, you know what? It's either you in or you out on this topic. It's no in the middle of
There's no lukewarm. There's
no lukewarm at all. So
No.
if you can go back to your mom and dad and they break bread with you and say, yes, we was wrong, you'll feel better as an individual. So you'll do right by your kids. And so your kids gonna do right by you, just like they have been. Okay? Racism's been going on because they've been doing that way. To me, you know, the president talks about thugs and people like that, but what do you say about the people that bring people out to see people hung? That to see people they done drug everywhere, then they gonna hang them and burn them. Yeah, you got 5,000 people sitting out there. What kind of person want to bring their family to see a man that's already dead burn up? You know, it's just sickening.
That's right. Go ahead, Randy.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you. I'm gonna try to go back and get a couple more football related questions in because people.
If you don't step in, I will, because I want to keep asking Richard a lot of things. Okay.
No,
Hey, Randy, come on. Just let me ask him this.
Yeah, go.
What do
go
you
ahead.
think about the NFL and how they are handling this, Richard, after Colin Kaepernick and what's been going on for the past 4 or 5 years?
Well, you know, you knew it was, you know, if you're the NFL, you knew it's coming your way. Okay?
Yeah.
And to what Drew Brees did, you know, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, so don't try to talk around a topic saying this and that about what your fathers did. Well, there's a lot of fathers, you know, listed in the, you know, army and worked for this country, as well as many other people of color. You know, white people look for people of color to come out here and work in this sun because they couldn't. So it was all about keeping those people down, making those people feel that way. But the NFL, you know, again, you know, when you look at a team, 80% minority. When you look at the coaches, 90% white. Okay, I'm not gonna say there's not many minorities that can maybe buy a team, but yet if you look at the NBA in that spot, NBA allow their players to come in and coach, allow their players to come in and own, allow their players to do a lot. In the NFL, look, you can't get in there if you're a man of color. That doesn't make any sense. That 90% of the guys that play the game cannot coach the game. Okay, that's prejudice all day. Okay, when you trying to tell me that we can only play but we can't coach.
Es un punto muy importante. Le pregunto a Richard de cómo cree que la NFL está manejando todo el tema del racismo. Dice, el 90% de los jugadores no pueden convertirse en coaches. En la NBA sí pueden ser coaches, pueden ser inclusive gerentes generales y hasta propietarios de franquicia. En la NFL hay un prejuicio y una discriminación, y para acabar con el racismo estamos todos como familia, descendencia, enseñarnos a que eso no puede existir en la sociedad y partir el pan juntos. Go ahead, Randy. We're hitting the final stretch.
I'm sitting beside a guy right here named Mike Jones.
Yeah, Coach Jones.
In Europe, coached a lot of places that, you know, and was a hell of a ball player. Okay, hold records in NCAA, but can't get a chance to coach. This is, you know, it's just outrageous that the white guys only hire their friends. They don't want players that played the game. I'm not going to say white players or black players, but I'm saying players that played the game, coaches be afraid about, you know, the players going to listen to them more than anything. Yeah. The point of it is you need somebody. You always need a Jekyll and a Hyde in football, in any sport. Okay. That's how it goes.
Yeah. You actually answered my question, because I was going to ask you, knowing that you were sitting there with Coach Jones, I was going to say, is this the opportunity now when the dust settles, will minority coaches finally have a chance to be recognized for their strengths and be put in position to succeed and make those decisions? Is this that moment? Because if you don't get it now, then when will
why do we need a Rooney rule? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I mean that
Right.
you got to introduce or you got to talk to one black. Why the fuck we need a Rooney rule? We don't need that. Okay, what we
Right.
need is we don't need it for
nobody
players.
abides by it
You
anyway.
don't need it for players. You may need it for someone that didn't play, but you know,
Right.
if you got players that play, you don't need that. I mean, give a guy an opportunity. Come on, man. What's it about? You know, but also when you look back in the day, you know, it can be a black player at quarterback, can be a black player at center, can be a black player at middle linebacker, can be
A
a
lot of
black player
stereotypes.
I'm just saying all of that to
Right.
me is, you know, you're going out there to recruit people, you're recruiting for the wrong reason.
Right.
Algo muy importante, Randy también le pregunta, ¿no? Definitivamente esas oportunidades. Ahí está el coach Mike Jones, que ha sido una leyenda en el fútbol americano, ha coachado en Europa, en Barcelona, y dice Richard, ¿para qué queremos una regla Rooney? Si las oportunidades se les deben dar por automático a quienes jugaron y saben del juego. We got 5 more minutes to go, Richard. And I just think we're going to have to do a second part because Javier Garcia from Los Cabos.
Mike Jones just said touchdown.
Okay. Javier Garcia from Los Cabos is watching the show. He
Los
sends his best.
Cabos, that's my favorite place.
They want to see you back there again, Richard.
Yes, I love that place. Yes.
Jose Luis Torres is watching the show from Dominican Republic. He says you're the real.
Dominican, yes, that's my spot too.
Well, he says you're the real monster of Midway. Alejandro Sanchez and Luis Cavazos Guzman also in Monterrey. Emilio Leon in Mexico City. Tell me something, Richard. Are we going to have an NFL season in 2020 or not? What's your mindset about that?
I think it's, you know, I don't know how. I understand that the basketball is going to be down here in Orlando. They're not going to have no fans. To me, when you got, you know, a stadium that seats 60, 70, 80,000, I just don't see these guys losing that paper. You know, those owners want that paper. You know, TV money, they're going to get that. But this other, I don't know. I mean, the norm, you know, I see it going forward. I mean, but having one seat after the other, these guys don't want to give any cash back. You know, I think if you can't bring the fans out, then, you know, I don't know. This is difficult time. This is, you know, we're talking about a virus that you need to live in the house and breathe. You know, no vaccine or what. I don't know what's going on with this, but, you know, to me, I wish we had more time to have that topic on that, because I think 5G may play a part with this. You know, 5G started in China, and second part was Italy, third part was Seattle, fourth part was New York, fifth part was California. So why is it all these spots? These are the hot spots, because those are the spots where everybody started 5G back last year and part of the rest of the year. So who knows, you know? But, you know, you got to give up something when you're on the earth and you're trying to send a message to China in less than 2 seconds. Okay, we got a lot of tools on our bodies today. So you gotta keep your eyes open.
Dice Richard que es algo que llama la atención porque empezó todo este virus en China, fue a Italia, algo tiene que ver con la tecnología, pero que él ve y toma ciertas reservas a que la NFL pueda arrancar la temporada en tiempo y forma debido a la pandemia, que no existe cura y que expone a los jugadores, pero que él considera que los jugadores van a querer jugar porque también quieren obviamente el dinero, quieren ese sueldo. Go ahead, Randy, one final question.
Oh, man. Okay, this is 2 parts then. First, Richard, can I take you up on a rain check? 1992, I came to Chicago to watch you play a football game. But that Saturday night before the game, me, you, and Brian were supposed to have dinner with Michael Jordan. Jordan called at the last minute and couldn't make it. So it was just me, you, and Brian. So I want to know if I get a rain check on that meeting.
You hitting the ball, man. You hitting the golf ball is just your son. He's a hell of an athlete that uses feet better than you can use your hands.
Ooh, that is so true. That is so true. But and then my final question, because you were MVP and a Hall of Famer, I definitely want to know who was the toughest player that you competed against.
Wow, you know, most people say that he's saying this because he's my teammate. Really, to me, I knew I was never going to see a Jimbo Colbert every Sunday. Okay,
Right.
at the end of the day, you know, it's two guys that I appreciate more than anything in my life as a player, and they was on my team.
Wow.
First guy was Steve Moore, okay,
Mm.
at Tennessee State.
Mhm.
You know, 6'6", 305, running the 40 and 5 flat, okay? No, actually 49 and 5 flat, okay? And he went before me to the
Wow.
Patriots, and we played against each other in the Super Bowl. It was
Mm.
very hard for me
That is
to
very
get
hard.
serious with him on the line of scrimmage, telling me jokes and shit when I'm trying to get off the ball on him. But Steve, you know, I knew I wasn't going to see a Steve in college.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
And a Jimbo Covert in the pros, I knew I wasn't going to see a Jimbo Covert in the pros. So there's no disrespect to the other guys, but
Right.
when you practice against a man that you know that, you know, hit all your spots and it makes you better,
Right.
you gotta put it where it lies.
Le pregunta Randy a Richard cuáles han sido los dos jugadores o el jugador contra el que más dificultades o competencia le ha dado y dice dos muy sencillos. Steve Moore, compañero de él en Tennessee State y después jugó con los Patriots de Nueva Inglaterra, se enfrentaron en el Super Bowl y el otro es Jimbo Covert, que este año entrará al Salón de la Fama, dos grandes jugadores y que él tuvo la fortuna de no tener que enfrentarlos los domingos o los sábados a Moore allá en Tennessee State. Richard, one final word you want to say to the fans all over Latin America that have watched you play, enjoyed your career, and still look at you as one of the greatest defensive or NFL players that have ever seen. Anything you have to say to them, please, Richard, go ahead.
Well, the people of color, you know, let me say I appreciate you allowing me to come into your home on Sundays and Saturdays, weekends, or whatever it may be, to give you some entertainment. I appreciate that more than anything. That's what it's all about, entertaining the people. And, you know, some people think they can do it, some can or can't, but at the end of the day, you know, for someone to allow you to come into their house to entertain them, I appreciate you more than anything. Thank you.
Dice Richard que les agradece a todos por permitirle haber entrado en sus casas, en sus hogares y entretenerlos durante su carrera, que lo aprecia bastante y les agradece. Randy, one final word for your former, I won't say teammate because you are older than Richard,
Yeah, he is.
but you come from
And
the
I used to
same
walk him to
university.
school.
Hey,
Go ahead, Randy.
man, listen. Just because I was the toughest football player to come from Tennessee State, don't
Yes,
mean
you were.
No, Richard, thank you again for being on the show. I know you and Mike are grinding, getting your son where he needs to be. So I just want you to send your love to your entire family. You know, we're Georgia boys. We know each other
Right,
without
right.
having to talk all the time. We still speak the same language. So it's great to connect, and let's try to do a Zoom call with Tennessee State guys, especially Coach Gilliam guys. Maybe we could do a Zoom call together and just talk about the state of Tennessee State.
Yeah, well, we got to get somebody else parked in there to help us to bring us back. And I'm looking forward to Mr. Jones be part of that.
Absolutely. All right.
All
Well,
right.
thank you guys. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you guys, man. I appreciate it. Much love.
Nos vamos igual. Thank you, Richard. We
Yes, sir.
appreciate it so much.
Thank
Take
you.
care, brother. Okay.
All right,
Yes,
you
sir.
too,
Be
brother.
safe.
All right.
Nos vamos. Esto ha sido Monday Night Football Talk. Hoy con la leyenda viviente, Richard Dent, jugador más valioso del Super Bowl 20 y exjugador de los Bears de Chicago. En nombre de Randy Fuller, Gonzalo Torres, ahí está Mr. Richard Dent. You have a good night. Buenas noches. Nos vamos.
You too. See you,
Stay
sir.
blue. Cheers, you, baby.
Okay. All right. Later, buddy.
All right.